Picture this. You wake up tomorrow morning and look out your window to see what appears to be a living, breathing school bus hopping through your neighborhood. But here's the twist. It's covered in fur, has enormous ears twitching nervously, and it's currently demolishing Mrs. Henderson's prize-winning rose garden by accident. Welcome to the world where rabbits have grown to the size of Stegosaurus dinosaurs. But that's not even the craziest part of this story. Our tale begins in the heart of Manhattan, where Dr. Sarah Chen, a wildlife biologist, is conducting her morning survey of Central Park's rabbit population. It's 6:47 a.m. on what seems like an ordinary Tuesday, when the sky suddenly erupts in brilliant green and purple aurora lights, completely impossible at this latitude. Sarah checks her radiation detector, and the readings are off the charts. Something is bombarding Earth with unprecedented cosmic energy. But in 30 seconds, you'll understand why this morning is about to become the most extraordinary day in human history. The aurora fades, leaving an eerie silence over the park. Sarah notices the rabbits have all stopped moving, frozen like statues in the grass. Their fur seems to shimmer with residual energy. Then, as if someone hit a cosmic growth button, the rabbits begin to expand. Not inflate, actually grow. Bones stretch, muscles develop, organs enlarge. Within minutes, what were once 6-inch cottontails have become 30-foot behemoths weighing over 15 tons each. But here's where things get really interesting. Their brains grew too. These aren't just oversized rabbits, they're oversized rabbits with enhanced intelligence. The lead male, which Sarah mentally names Goliath, stands upright on his hind legs, towering 40 feet into the Manhattan skyline. His massive brown eyes scan the urban landscape with a curious intelligence that sends chills down Sarah's spine. Unlike the tiny, skittish creatures they once were, these giants move with deliberate purpose. The first sign of trouble comes when Goliath decides he's hungry. A normal rabbit eats about half a pound of vegetation daily. But following the square cube law of biology, Goliath now needs roughly 4,000 pounds of plant matter every single day just to survive. And Central Park's entire vegetation won't satisfy even one giant rabbit for more than a week. But wait until you see what happens when they discover the farmers' market in Union Square. The ground trembles as 6 colossal rabbits hop through the streets of Manhattan. Their powerful hind legs, now equipped with muscles that could launch a car into orbit, propel them in bounds that cover entire city blocks. Each landing cracks the asphalt and sends shockwaves through nearby buildings. Windows rattle, car alarms shriek, and New Yorkers pour onto the streets in confusion. Sarah races through the chaos, trying to reach her research vehicle while coordinating with the mayor's office via phone. "They're not aggressive," she shouts over the din. "They're just looking for food, massive amounts of food." But her voice is drowned out by the sound of a giant rabbit accidentally stepping through the roof of a Whole Foods market. Here's the part that'll blow your mind. They're still prey animals at heart. Despite their intimidating size, these mega rabbits retain all their original instincts. When a helicopter buzzes overhead, all 6 creatures freeze completely, their enormous ears swiveling to track the sound. Their large eyes, now the size of dinner plates, dart nervously in all directions. One sudden movement from a street vendor causes the entire group to bolt, their panicked hopping demolishing 3 city blocks in under 30 seconds. But the real problem isn't their fear, it's their appetite. Goliath discovers the rooftop garden atop the Empire State Building and devours the entire thing in 4 massive bites. His mate, Duchess, finds a nursery in Brooklyn and mistakes the greenhouse for an all-you-can-eat buffet. The smallest rabbit, barely 25 feet tall, gets distracted by the artificial turf at Yankee Stadium and starts methodically eating the entire field. This is where Dr. Chen realizes the terrifying truth about their situation. These aren't just big rabbits. They're ecological disasters with legs. A normal stegosaurus weighed about 5 tons and spent 12 hours a day eating low-lying vegetation. But rabbits are more efficient digesters with faster metabolisms. These giant rabbits could strip every park, garden, and green space in New York, bare within 72 hours. After that, they'll either starve or start expanding their diet to include things rabbits were never meant to eat. But here's the twist no one saw coming. As Sarah studies their behavior from her mobile laboratory, she notices something extraordinary. The rabbits are communicating with each other through subsonic vocalizations. sounds below human hearing range. Their enlarged vocal cords can now produce calls that travel for miles through the city's concrete canyon. They're coordinating their foraging, sharing information about food sources, and even taking turns standing guard while others eat. They're not just surviving, Sarah radios to the emergency command center. They're adapting, and they're doing it together. The situation reaches a critical point when the military arrives with tranquilizer equipment sized for elephants. The massive doses needed to affect these giants could easily kill them, and Sarah knows that underneath their intimidating size, they're still gentle herbivores who harm no one intentionally, but you won't believe what she discovers about their true potential. While researching frantically, Sarah uncovers something remarkable about Stegosaurus anatomy. Those distinctive backplates weren't just armor, they were thermoregulation systems. And somehow, the cosmic transformation has given the giant rabbits a similar adaptation. The raised ridge along their spines is not fur. It's a series of biological solar collectors that can convert sunlight directly into usable energy. These rabbits don't just eat constantly because the excess energy from their feeding gets stored in specialized organs that can release it as bursts of incredible speed and strength. When truly threatened, they don't just hop, they can leap over skyscrapers. This changes everything. Sarah realizes that these creatures aren't just evolutionary accidents. They are potentially the next step in mammalian development. Their ability to process both plant matter and solar energy makes them incredibly efficient survivors. In the right environment, they could thrive for centuries. But Manhattan isn't that environment. The turning point comes when Goliath, driven by hunger and stress, approaches a school during lunchtime. 300 children watch in awe through reinforced windows as the gentle giant sniffs curiously at their playground. His massive nose, now the size of a compact car, presses against the glass. For a moment, child and creature regard each other with mutual fascination. Then Goliath does something that changes Dr. Chen's entire understanding of the situation. He carefully, deliberately, places a single dandelion from his mouth against the window, a gift for the children inside. "They're not monsters," Sarah whispers into her radio. "They're still the same gentle animals they always were. They're just bigger." But the military doesn't see it that way. Tank columns are rolling down Broadway, and satellite imagery shows more Aurora events occurring worldwide. The rabbit transformation isn't isolated to New York. It's happening everywhere, and not just to rabbits. Reports are flooding in of giant hamsters in Tokyo, colossal guinea pigs in London, and enormous chinchillas in the Swiss Alps. Here's where the story takes its most dramatic turn. Sarah proposes an unprecedented solution. Instead of trying to contain or eliminate the giant rabbits, lead them out of the city to where they can survive naturally. Using her knowledge of rabbit behavior and their new subsonic communication abilities, she believes she can guide them to the Adirondack Mountains, where vast forests can support their massive appetites. The plan requires perfect timing, absolute trust, and a little bit of magic. Sarah positions herself in Central Park with the largest collection of premium rabbit food ever assembled, roughly 2 tons of organic pellets, fresh Timothy hay, and vegetables. But this isn't just bait. It's a peace offering. As the 6 giant rabbits converge on her location, Sarah does something that everyone thinks is completely insane. She walks directly toward Goliath, maintaining eye contact, moving with the slow, non-threatening movements she's practiced with thousands of normal-sized rabbits throughout her career. But will techniques that work on 6-inch rabbits work on 60-foot giants? Goliath lowers his massive head until it's level with Sarah. His enormous brown eye, gentle despite its size, studies her with unmistakable intelligence. Sarah reaches out and places her palm against his fur. It's surprisingly soft, like touching a living carpet. She can feel his heartbeat through her hand, a steady, powerful rhythm that resonates through the ground. "I know you're scared," she whispers. "I know you're hungry, but I'm going to help you find a place where you can be safe." What happens next has never been attempted in the history of animal science. Sarah begins walking north through Central Park, toward the edge of the city. Behind her, 6 creatures the size of city buses follow in single file, their footsteps shaking windows for miles around, but their demeanor completely peaceful. The journey through Manhattan becomes a surreal parade. Thousands of people line the streets, phones recording as the bizarre procession moves through Times Square, past the Statue of Liberty ferry terminal, across the Brooklyn Bridge. The giant rabbits move carefully, instinctively avoiding buildings and crowds, their enhanced intelligence allowing them to navigate the urban obstacle course. But here's the part that gives everyone chills. As they pass through each neighborhood, children start following. Not close enough to be in danger, but trailing along sidewalks and hanging from apartment windows, cheering and waving. The giant rabbits notice. Duchess actually stops to acknowledge a group of kids outside a hospital, lowering her head in what can only be described as a bow. The military holds fire. The city holds its breath. And 6 impossibly large rabbits follow one brave scientist toward freedom. The exodus takes 14 hours. By the time they reach the edge of the Adirondack Mountains, Sarah is exhausted, the rabbits are famished, and the world has watched every moment via satellite feed. As Goliath leads his family into the vast wilderness, he turns one last time to look at Sarah. In that moment, she understands something profound about evolution, adaptation, and the incredible resilience of life itself. But this story isn't over. It's just beginning. 3 months later, satellite imagery shows the giant rabbits have not only survived, but thrived. They've created vast burrow systems in the mountains, established sustainable feeding patterns, and incredibly, they're reproducing. The first generation of naturally born giant rabbits is due any day. Meanwhile, reports continue flooding in from around the world. The cosmic event has affected dozens of species, creating a new class of megafauna that shouldn't be able to exist according to traditional biology, yet somehow does. Scientists are calling it the new Mesozoic era, a time when mammals have taken the place of dinosaurs as the planet's giants. Dr. Sarah Chen stands in her new research facility overlooking the Adirondack Preserve, watching Goliath's family through high-powered telescopes. They've learned to supplement their plant diet by processing fallen leaves through bacterial fermentation, essentially brewing their own nutritional supplements. Their solar collection abilities have grown more sophisticated, allowing them to remain active even during harsh mountain winters. But the most remarkable development is their continued evolution. The latest generation shows signs of even greater intelligence, problem-solving abilities that rival some primates, and social structures more complex than any previously observed in lagomorphs. Sarah makes a note in her journal. Day 127. Subject exhibits tool use, constructing makeshift shelters from fallen trees. Communication patterns suggest development of rudimentary language. Recommendation: begin formal diplomatic protocols. She pauses, looking out at creatures that were once small enough to hold in her hands and are now reshaping entire ecosystems through their presence. The age of giants has begun, she writes, and we're just starting to understand what that means for the future of life on Earth. As the camera pulls back, we see the vast mountain preserve where these gentle giants have found their new home. But in the distance, storm clouds are gathering, both literal and metaphorical. Because if rabbits can grow to the size of Stegosaurus and develop superintelligence, what happens when the same cosmic forces affect predators? The aurora lights begin to dance across the sky once again, and somewhere in Yellowstone National Park, a pack of wolves begins to grow. What animal would you want to see transformed into a giant? The possibilities are endless, and the adventures are just beginning. Drop your suggestions in the comments below, because this story is far from over, and your ideas might just inspire the next chapter in this incredible saga of evolution gone wild. Speaking of incredible sagas, you absolutely have to check out what happens when a brontosaurus finds itself in a post-apocalyptic world. Trust me, if you thought giant rabbits were impressive, wait until you see how the largest dinosaur that ever lived handles the end of civilization. Click that next video now. You won't believe your eyes.